Hello, thank you for tuning into WNYU.org. You're now listening to The Other Football. We're going to be talking about English Premier League soccer for the next half hour. As always, I'm joined by the one and only Sam.
Rohtas,
Say your name, Rohtas.
Wadera.
Say your name, Rohtas. Thank you for joining us, everyone, here today. So, English Premier League football right now.
First off, let's apologize to everybody that's at the state of the station meeting right now. We're sorry that we're doing this live, but we are.
So. Oh yeah, so everyone at WNYU right now is at a meeting, the state of the station, really, really big once semester meeting, and we just totally ducked out so that we could do our show. So thank you to Luca and Ray for letting us do that, of course, and Micah as well. But
we got to wish our sports director, Ray,
of course, yeah, we have some pleasantries to get rid of, or not to get rid of, to get through before we start the show. Happy birthday to Ray, our sports director. She's the one who's allowed us to do all these crazy shows about soccer on WNYU.org and on FM. So we owe a great deal to her. So thank you, Ray. We love you. Woo! All right, so while everyone's at State of the Station, we have the entire WNYU studio to ourselves right now.
Yes, sir.
Rohtas, should we play soccer in here?
Oh, we could, but no, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Dude, in my backpack, I've got like a mini ball that we could just kick around.
Do you really?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But that idea just occurred to me that we could do anything we want in the station right now.
We would break a lot of stuff, and that's not good.
Yeah, all right. So for
those computers are really nice out there. Macs. We can't have those break.
All right, so I guess we won't mess with it. But I mean, I would like to, because right now there's just nothing happening in English.
Oh yeah, no, that would be cool. There's nothing happening in MLS.
Yeah, right? Well, it's crazy how we just came on to do a show about English Premier League soccer, and like there's just nothing happened today. It's been the international break this week. The Premier League will get back started again next weekend, but this weekend we had a slew of international games, European Cup qualifiers. What else did we have? Just a lot of international friendlies. Yeah. There was some
Argentina played in DC, met up with some Indiana Pacers this past week.
Oh yeah, and they Argentina went to the Wizards game, and they sat in a box. I think they sat in a box.
They were all of them together.
Yeah, they were all sitting together. Messi was there against Carlos Tevez.
Incredible.
Well, you see, the Washington Wizards have a promotion where I think like if somebody misses a free throw at a certain point during the game, everyone there like gets a free Chick-fil-A coupon, free chicken, right?
Oh my god! And
they announced it, and then they cut to like photographs and images of Messi and all the guys reacting to the free chicken.
Wow!
And they were freaking out. Wow. I had never seen a soccer team as pumped to win free fried chicken as these dudes were.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the one good thing about the international break, where I guess guys and players end up in places that they normally wouldn't end up in March, because this is the height, really, the pressure, the most impactful time of the season right now. And, they're just off in Washington, D.C. winning free chicken.
Right. And that's awesome for them. But it's also hilarious. Yeah, that's
yeah, but now we can finally get back to
Premier League, yeah, just a wide variety of fixtures going on.
Yeah,
that just wasn't the Premier League, which kind of stinks. But a lot to look forward to next week, because we are closing in on the end of the season. We are,
but before we actually get to the schedule next week and what's happening, let's talk about a little bit what happened in the international break too.
A lot going on in terms of England.
Even though we all hate the international break, I mean, going 2 weeks without club football in March is like basically like putting a gun to my head. Thank goodness we've had March Madness to like sort of keep me as a a fan sane a little bit.
Yeah, because it's the dog days for basketball as well in the NBA.
Well, yeah, at this point in the NBA, everyone's just tanking, or trying to get a seed. Right. So the English Premier League is actually one of the rare leagues right now where it's like, okay, I follow it and it's actually turning up right now, and like this really matters. But for some teams that have players on England, this was not a very good international break for them. I think at the England training camp this past week, all the players that got called up to play with the England squad, I think they have a friendly against Italy on Tuesday. They have a friendly against Italy on Tuesday. And a lot of players left the England camp with injury. Leighton Baines of Everton had to get sent home due to injury. James Milner picked up a knee problem.
Wow.
So those are two big players for Everton and City gone now. Daniel Sturridge actually turns out
the entirety of Liverpool.
Yeah, basically all of Liverpool is got destroyed by England. Raheem Sterling injured his toe while playing, and he received an injection in it, a pain injection. Hopefully he'll be fit against Arsenal this coming weekend, which we'll get to talk about, of course. And then Daniel Sturridge, who actually suffered a hip tear against Manchester United that wasn't discovered until he wound up at England camp.
Wow. That's awful. I mean, it's really unfortunate for England fans and for Liverpool fans because you're looking at the scenario. Yeah, it's a European qualifying matchup for 2016, but you pretty comfortably beat Lithuania this past weekend,
right.
And
with Harry Kane, Wayne Rooney stealing the show.
Mm-hmm. So I really, to have this kind of news come out at this time in a match that sure had some importance, but not that much at all, really, because they won comfortably. At this stage,
did Sterling even have to play, man?
Exactly.
Raheem Sterling right now, and it's killing me inside.
Play Ashley Young.
Sure. And just don't make Liverpool players go. I don't want any of my players going to England camp. Because as we've learned, and Brendan Rodgers and Roy Hodgson have gotten into it before
that's
over
your
injuries.
Hey man, that's on your teammates. That's on Brendan Rodgers for bringing in English talent.
Oh, I mean, but that's been like Liverpool's directive for years now. Like, yeah, let's just sign everyone who's in England camp. Like, let's bring them all in because we like having English players, which is fine and well. But when they go away on international break, it's very, very scary because they've been coming back with injuries.
Right. It's going to be
and Danny Welbeck actually got sent home.
Wow.
Too.
So
he picked up a problem.
That's incredible. Basically, more than half of England's starting 11 just wiped with injuries. They're washed. Wow. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but
and did you hear what the FA said about English players now too?
Right, exactly. That's what we were going to get into. This is going to be an interesting discussion because
so much going wrong with this England national team in the FA right now.
Exactly. So basically, one of the head members, suggested that
one of the directors in the FA
suggested that there be a minimum of 12 English players for every first team. So essentially, out of a roster that can be filled with up to 25 players, 12. So you're looking at almost 50% there. That's a lot. That is a lot of players. And Arsene Wenger obviously was very critical of this, considering he doesn't have an English player in sight.
I think he has 16 foreign-born players registered on this 25-man
and that's
roster.
And I think
that's the most in the Premier League too.
Yeah, that's probably the most in the Premier League, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. They still have talent like Ramsey isn't even British, right? So you're looking at it's Wiltshire. So it's Arsene Wenger. I think is doing the right thing here. We've talked about how England and the FA. What makes the Premier League the best league in the entire world is that it's the foreign talent that come to the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to give props to Roman Abramovich at all, but because of what he came in and did to Chelsea and, infused so much money into that club and got other billionaires to come and buy these top English clubs, they're just, they have the pick of the lot in the transfer market and they bring in star foreign players. And a lot of what Arsene Wenger said when he was critical of the remarks that the FA director made was, I think he said something like, we don't want to support mediocre players. We want to produce world-class players. And that was a bit of a slight at the English player because the English player isn't a player. The average English professional footballer doesn't go overseas. He doesn't go to Germany or Spain to play. He mainly stays at home and stays mediocre in English.
Right. I think that's the kind of the direction that the FA director was trying to go in by saying, look, if we put our mediocre level English players in this type of environment, then some of them are bound to grow and succeed. But
that's the counterpoint.
But I think what we've learned is that doesn't necessarily work. Arsene Wenger brought up the great point that they did the same thing with under 21 kids. You had to have 3, and you had to have them starting. And what used to happen was they did it in France and they did it in one other country, I believe. What used to happen within 5 minutes, all 3 under 21 kids got subbed off.
Wow. Because they got run off the pitch.
Because they just weren't ready to play. So that's the type of drastic change that you're looking at. I mean, we've seen what Germany's been able to do. It's through the youth system that you need to make improvements if you want to be a world power. And while, the England FA director might be, onto something in terms of trying to get more English players into the Premier League, but that's not going to be the way to fix it. And I just don't agree with and I mean, sure, it'd be nice. It would be nice for British fans to have more British players to associate with. But there's enough star power on these teams. There's more than enough, from players of other countries to root for them. And
it's just because everyone hates Wayne Rooney, man. It's like, Wayne Rooney is he's the golden chalice of English soccer, and he plays for United.
Yeah, they're just upset that they don't have the face that they want.
Yeah, literally, they don't have the face that they want. Like, nobody wants to look at Wayne Rooney's face.
Literally, and figuratively as well.
But I like that you brought up the point about Germany and how they've, and if people didn't know this, Germany has completely rehauled how they bring up youth players really within the past 10, 15 years. I think it was after one of the World Cups, it
was either 2002.
I think it was after the 2002 World Cup. They were like, oh man, we have a great team, except we can't ever win.
They were getting out in the quarterfinal after quarterfinal.
Right. And so what they did, and I think we definitely saw this pay dividends in 2014, where all those young, great German players really came into their own. You know, Götze, and Schürrle, like, you know, Royce, Hummels, all these great German players that were brought up though in Germany.
Neuer.
Yeah, and Neuer as well by their parent clubs. And what Germany did is that I think they made every single team in the top 2 divisions improve their academy. And I think they make them field a B squad. And this is something that the England's thought about, but they voted down.
And La Liga does it too.
And La Liga does it too. England's voted this down. The FA's voted this down a few times before. But basically the point would be, you know, teams like Chelsea and Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, teams that have a lot of wealth and can really afford to, you know, field 2 squads basically at the same time. You have the A squad obviously in the Premier League, and then you have a B squad playing in the 2nd division or 3rd division.
Right, and that certainly speaks to why they have better talent at a younger age when it comes to Spain and Germany.
They're getting these young players getting real matches.
Technically gifted.
Yeah.
Like I can think of one example immediately. Jose Perez isn't like he's 21, 22, and they scouted him from Tenerife, which is basically in Liga B now.
He plays for Newcastle, correct?
Yeah, he plays for Newcastle now. He's already getting looks for Manchester City based on his skill level and what
he's
they
looked
think
fantastic for Newcastle.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the type of talent that you have that you can bring in from Spain, from Germany. They just have more young prospects that are, even Belgium as well, just that are playing at a higher level. Other than Raheem Sterling and Daniel Sturridge, Raheem Sterling.
I love saying Raheem Sterling.
But yeah, those types of players. So it's an interesting decision. Hopefully, it doesn't impact how many players we have per team. Granted, I would like to see maybe 1 or 2 English players in Manchester City or in Chelsea.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why Liverpool, when they made their title run last year,
or Arsenal, sorry, yeah.
A lot of the British press and the British media, you know, they wanted Liverpool to win, and well, yeah, because England's captain Steven Gerrard plays there. You have Jordan Henderson in the middle.
Players, exactly.
You have England's leading striker up front in Daniel Sturridge. Like,
exactly.
Liverpool bought English boys and played them, and they almost won the title, which everyone loved.
That would have been a.
So I do understand where the FA director is coming from when he says these things. But it also follows on how England actually changed the rules in 2011, 2010, I believe, where they made it so in your 25-man first-team squad, you have to have at least 8 homegrown, quote-unquote, players.
Wow.
And homegrown means that they need to have spent at least 3 years playing in England professionally before their, before their 21st birthday.
Yeah.
I believe so. You can sign a kid in Germany if you're Liverpool, bring him up, you know, those 3 years, and then he qualifies as a homegrown player.
That's also a very effective system. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And we've seen as a result, a lot of players, you know, from star systems in Germany as well as Spain come over to the Premier League to train here. I know just off the top of my head, Liverpool signed Sergi Canos from Barcelona. He was their top-rated youth striker, and they were able to poach him in part because of that rule. So I think sort of, you know, having or forcing teams to sign English players just so that you meet a quota, I feel like that's arbitrary and a little. You're kind of just you're burying the problem even more. Mm-hmm. You're not really addressing the problem fully, which is that a lot of English teams really just don't have the great academy structures needed to bring up players, and the philosophy in England hasn't always been with the ball. English players haven't always learned to play without the ball. They haven't always learned to also play, you know, a really technically savvy game, like you have in Barcelona and Germany. So I think it's philosophy and academies that we need to be looking at, not necessarily a certain number of players you need to have on your squad.
Absolutely. So that's that with the FA director. Again, hopefully things don't change. But that brings us to
Well, I'm glad we talked about Wenger because now we can get into
right. We talked about Wenger. We talked about England, and so you talk about the two teams most heavily involved, Liverpool and Arsenal.
Woo! Are they playing next weekend, or are they playing next weekend?
7:45. Get ready.
Oh, is it?
Early.
Oh, I didn't know it was a 7:45 kickoff. Mm-hmm. I'm just never gonna be able to sleep ever again.
Never ever. Always fun, those types. Yeah, that's pretty much the only marquee matchup coming up next week.
Yep, that's gonna be our match of the week this week. Liverpool Arsenal Saturday morning, 7:45.
And we did talk about the implosion of Liverpool and all the injuries. It's almost like,
should we go over?
It's almost just like who's gonna be out on the field for them.
Yeah, let's recap a little bit because since
Balotelli and Lambert,
stop. Oh my God, if Balotelli and Lambert start up
each
front,
combine for 2 goals and then they'll win 4-0.
Wow. Oh, that's a great score prediction, Rohtas. Thank you for that. I like
sarcasm.
That. Oh man,
that's probably the worst prediction anyone could ever make.
4-0 Arsenal away
at the Emirates.
yeah. Liverpool has to travel to London next weekend to play Arsenal
without Martin Skirtle.
Yeah, so ever since
without Steven Gerrard.
Let's recap a little bit because a lot has actually changed with Liverpool ever since they lost to Manchester United
within
at home.
the span of 1 week. How things can change.
Yeah, so let's recap. So Daniel Sturridge out for a month with another injury. Just okay, fine. That's just typical from Sturridge at this point. Then we have Martin Skirtle, who was charged by the FA for the stamp he put on De Gea at the end of the match last week. It was deemed to be on purpose. Even though
Rudy did the same thing.
Rudy did the same thing earlier in the match. And actually, Diego Costa stamped on Martin Skirtle a few weeks ago in the FA Cup, but that was deemed to be accidental. I don't know how the FA decides whether it was purposeful or accidental. I mean, if you go back and look at the play, it was the last pass of the game. Martin Skirtle was going all out for the ball to try to win it. And, you know, there was a coming together with him and De Gea.
Right.
I think it was just two players fighting for the last pass of the game. But, you know, he's been posthumously charged by the FA for the stamp.
So you're looking at 3 games, yeah.
Yeah, so he got a 3-game suspension. Steven Gerrard with his great red card. He's going to be out for 3 games now. Yeah. So that's what Sturridge, Skirtle, Gerrard. Jordan Ibe is still injured. Adam Lallana picked up an injury against Manchester United because that's just what he does best.
Yeah.
Dejan Lovren picked up another injury with his abdominal muscle. So how many players is that? 5? And then Raheem Sterling picked up a toe injury, and he's unsure about playing on Saturday. So that's 6. And is anyone else? Who else wants to be injured on Liverpool? Just come forward right now. Like, just get it all out. Get it all out of your system. Come if you're injured. Like, just let us know, guys.
Right. So they have to go to the Emirates. They'll have Henderson out on the pitch at least, right?
Oh yeah, great.
Henderson and Balotelli and Joe Allen.
See, and I don't know who Liverpool's gonna. I don't know who Brendan Rodgers is gonna field.
We're gonna see Kolo Touré.
Stop.
No, in a big game.
I love Kolo Touré to death, but I do not want him.
No Skirtle or Lovren. So what other center backs do you have? You're gonna play Chan. You're gonna play
Sacco. We could potentially see because Liverpool's squad is so threadbare right now, and you know this actually drives me nuts because Liverpool sold Suarez last summer and then signed all of these players, so this exact thing would not happen. We'd actually have depth in the squad. Right. It's just been decimated right now due to red cards and injuries. Great mix.
Awesome mix. And it was funny because a week ago we were talking about Liverpool making the top 4, and now it has gone.
Liverpool fans wanted top 3 a week ago.
Wow.
I'm whispering this into the mic right now.
You guys were jumping the gun. I predicted Liverpool would get top 4 somehow. But obviously you can't predict injuries. You can't predict Gerrard stomping under Herrera's leg. So you can't predict those type of things. But anyway.
So yeah, but we don't know who's going to play.
Right. So
who do you think Brendan Rodgers is going to put up there? Do you think he's going to stick with the back 3?
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't matter because Arsenal's won 6 in a row, and they're at home. And
when was the last time Arsenal lost at home? That's a great question. We don't know because they've won their last 6 home games.
Right. That probably spans a month to 2-month period, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look it up right now, but we would probably have to go back months to see when the last time Arsenal dropped points at home.
Arsene Wenger finally starting to get a good run of of form. They can kind of look past what happened in the Champions League, and now they can devote their time to
getting third place again.
Second place now. I mean, they're going to
be... we talked about that last week. They might be in for second.
They've got
catching up on City.
Yeah, they are. They got a great opportunity to do so, and if they keep winning, they're just going to continue to put the pressure on City. The more City start to lose out on the title race, I think the more their form and their energy is just going to decline. So they have more, once City realizes that they're out of it, I think they're just going to fall off just a bit. So you're looking at Arsenal having a strong possibility of getting to that second place spot, especially considering their schedule down the stretch. I mean, I do know that, again, United is the second to last week of the season. That'll be obviously with a lot on the line there. That'll be fun. But other than that, I feel like their schedule is relatively easy for them after Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Arsenal have the easiest schedule down the stretch out of all of the teams that are competing for the top four.
Right. So they're only just going to stay further and further up the form guide. They're going to stay in that number one spot because, I don't see anybody beating them. And it's incredible because Alexis Sanchez isn't even playing that well.
No, he's actually gotten completely cold recently.
He's loving life here. He's loving it. He's loving London. But
do you know how many pictures of dogs he posts on his Instagram? He is really having a great time in London.
He's having fun.
He's got wherever he is in London, he's got a yard and he's got two giant, beautiful blonde dogs, and he just loves playing with them. It's great.
Yeah.
So I looked up when Arsenal last lost at home, and you should have known this.
United.
Oh yeah, United.
When we somehow won that game.
When Arsenal lost 2-1 to United back in November.
When we dominated. They dominated.
Yeah, I remember Arsenal dominated possession. I think their expected goal tally was like 4 or something. And they ended up scoring
United
1. You guys scraped together 2 crap goals.
In United fashion.
Yeah, of course. That's just so typical United this season. But Arsenal's run-in after Liverpool it's pretty cushy. I mean, they have Burnley. They have to play Chelsea, but Chelsea's at home. I mean, and they still have to travel to Old Trafford. So there's some tricky fixtures in there, but I still think Arsenal would probably take points here.
Right. So we're looking at 3 points here for Arsenal, right? You're obviously hoping for a draw, but I don't see that happening. It's going to be
Liverpool desperately need to grab a point against Arsenal because they're 5 back of United right now.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only sound I can make when I look at the schedule and look at Liverpool, because it's not easy coming out. I know Manchester United's schedule is not easy as well coming for the rest of the season. But if Liverpool don't get a point against Arsenal, I think they can straight up kiss their top 4 hopes goodbye.
Right.
They can't drop any points from here on out.
So it's an Arsenal win, right?
No, it's not an Arsenal win. It's going to be a draw.
It'll be a smackdown. It will be a beat down.
Honestly, it might be just because I know how tired this Liverpool team is at this stage of the season. Brendan Rodgers
is going to have to take a gutsy effort.
It will. I mean, this team looks physically worn down. In the past, 3-4 games, Liverpool have been winning, and the only really loss was against Manchester United. But the team hasn't looked altogether that great, to be honest with you. They've looked tired. They've been scoring goals here and there, but this team is on pace, I think, to score half the goals they did last year.
Right.
Which is terrible. And they haven't really been creating that many chances to begin with these past couple matches as well. So you have a tired team that's really struggling to find a creative outlet, spark and attack.
Yeah.
And you're right. They're probably gonna lose this weekend.
All right. Yeah.
Jeez. Oh man, you're just more than happy to see.
I am very happy. Okay, so real quick thoughts on United planning on keeping Di Maria. Really quick, because we got to get to some added time stuff.
Word. Okay, so you told me that Angel Di Maria will not be sold this summer.
Right.
Manchester United have no plans to let him fly off to PSG or wherever 1 year after signing him. That sucks, man, for Angel Di Maria. I mean, the thing is, winning and form will cure all. But right now, it's not looking good for him.
Right. There's stories going on. Van Gaal's yelling at him in the locker room for running with the ball too much, not passing it, and it's just like
Angel Di Maria is one of the best dribblers in the Premier League.
Right?
Excuse me.
In the world. So I mean, it's classic case of coach versus player and restricting him, in his style of play versus the system.
And Van Hal is like, can be tyrannical at times too. So I don't know what kind of a person Angel Di Maria is, but it seems like he's not really meshing well with his manager at this point.
Right. And then Iker Casillas, after 18 years, his contract will be bought out. A sad day for Madrid fans, but they will be targeting
pour one out for Iker.
David De Gea. Yeah, not okay.
Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone then.
Right? That's
how much would it take to
50 mil.
50 mil for a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He's like what, 22, 23?
Get out of here. What's the keeper record?
I don't know. I'm just saying he's still like 23, 24. He's going to enter his prime, and based on his run of form this season.
All right, so the most expensive goalkeeper, the highest transfer fee that's ever been paid to, was in 2001. Juventus signed Buffon for 32 million pounds.
Wow, so then it'd be 40.
That was 15 years ago.
So then it'll be
15 years ago, though.
So then it'll be 40. For De Gea,
oh, wow. That's a lot, man. He's worth it, though. He's worth it.
If they have to pay that.
So if De Gea is worth 40, how much is Neuer worth? Just for
50.
kicks. Neuer's worth
no,
he's not.
He's not that much better than De Gea. He's not.
No, he's 50. Manuel Neuer is better.
He's 45.
Oh, okay, you're just a stand at this point.
Well, yeah, because De Gea has been brilliant.
All right, you know what? I don't even want to talk to Rohtas anymore. Can we get Ron Walker in here for out of time?
All right, well,
there we go.
The USA men's national team bloody well lost to Denmark 3-2. Lord Bentner coming in and scoring a hat.
Lord Bentner!
He look good, of course, because that's the only thing he knows how to do, score well. In the United States colours and not his club colours.
Yeah, not in club.
But Lord Bentner, a nice hat trick, a game the United States shouldn't have lost. What about you? You've got some MLS.
I do, because
NYCFC.
Well, I own NYCFC season tickets. I'm 0 for 2 going to the game so far. I'm a bad season ticket holder.
Come on now,
yeah.
get on it.
We'll get out there anyway. But I did watch the NYCFC match. They lost 1-0 at Yankee Stadium to Sporting Kansas City. The pitch at Yankee Stadium looks dreadful to play on. The players can't connect. They just can't connect passes together.
Well, the Yankees won't be too happy either.
No, they won't. And the only, you know how Sporting Kansas City scored, and I haven't seen a goal scored like this since high school. Matt Beasler, Sporting Kansas City center back, threw the ball in on a throw-in in the final third, and a Sporting Kansas City defenseman who was up there, a center back, went and headed it in. I haven't seen anybody score off a throw-in since high school, man.
Right, and that's who a center back pairing. A center-back pairing connecting for the game-winning goal. Only in the MLS.
Only in MLS.
Only in the MLS.
But eventually we'll get out to Yankee Stadium, right?
Of course, we better. We have to.
Yeah, I better, man. I better use these tickets eventually, right?
Before the semester ends.
All right, so that's all for the other football today. Thank you for all tuning in. Next week we'll be back with some real good Premier League news. Signing off, guys. Thanks.
Peace.
89.1 on your radio dial, unless your stereo was made